about predetermination of gender and sexuality. I want to talk a little bit about an issue that has caused an immense amount of difficulty, and it really shouldn't have, but it has done. And this is called the Reimer case. Now, in the 1960s, one of America's, the United States' leading clinical psychologist was a guy called John Money. And he actually believed that gender could be shaped by circumstance. He thought that it was constructed so that you could take a young person and if you made that person grow up as a member of the opposite sex, then they would effectively be of the opposite, certainly of the opposite gender, although sex is something different. Now, David Reimer was, that was not his original name, he changed it. David Reimer was actually a Canadian, and he was mutilated in a botched circumcision, apparently a routine circumcision, and you do have to wonder about a culture that has routinely circumcising children at the age of a week or so old. The result was that they used a cauterizing iron to seal the wound, and the technician burned off the little boy's cock. Absolutely brilliant, but unfortunately not at all uncommon. It happens all the time. John Money was called in, and he thought that if the infant, who later became David Reimer, was to be raised as a girl, then there would be no problem. They were going to construct for her a neovagina. They were going to give her the appropriate hormones. They were going to condition her to believe she was a girl, and she would be a girl. And that was absolutely fine until puberty, when Reimer started having absolutely dreadful gender dysphoria. That's effectively what it was. Became very psychologically disturbed, and eventually found out the truth, because nobody had told him, and was incredibly angry, reverted to being a man. Now, how does this work? If that's the case, how is it that some people can grow up to be transsexual? And the answer is, your gender, your sexuality and gender, is determined in the womb while you're still a fetus. And most male babies have male sexuality. There's no problem. Most female babies have female sexuality. But there is a number of both male and female babies who are shifted towards the opposite, either partially or completely. And this is well established. There's loads of studies that have looked into this and have come up with this. It's been implicated in autism, many other things. And it obviously causes, in males, it can cause feminization across a range of parameters. Now, if you're one of these people, and you don't grow up to be a girl, if you're a male with this condition, you don't grow up to be a girl, then you'll experience gender dysphoria. The problem with Reimer was, he was a boy. He didn't have this problem. He had not had an anomaly during pregnancy that would have shifted him into being a girl. So what Money tried to do was to force upon someone who did not naturally have female sexuality and feminine gender, that sexuality and gender, and it failed completely. Now, what this tells you, and there have been a number of other cases, but this one is really public. You just go online and Google Reimer Money, and you'll find loads and loads of copy about this. What this proves, beyond a doubt, is that gender is innate. Now, I know that Reimer, at puberty, reverted to being male, but there are plenty of perfectly well described and understood homosexual transsexuals out there, both male and female, for whom they don't revert. They are actually what they say they are. They're full sexual inverts, to the point that their gender follows their sexuality. So Reimer's case proves that gender isn't just a construct, because you couldn't. It's innate, and HSTS people demonstrate that some people have an innate sexuality and gender that doesn't match their birth sex. Now, this really does screw up both the both the radfems and the gay lobbies. They don't want it to be like that. Feminists want gender to be some sort of obscure, weird social construct that can just be got rid of or changed. I mean, that's just nonsense. That's just pure Marxian BS. And I'm afraid the homosexuals, they seem to want to have their cake and eat it. They want to be able to say, oh no, homosexuality is innate, it's not a choice. And then when you say, well, yeah, that's fair enough, we accept that. You have sexual inversion, which is caused by factors applicant in the womb. Say, oh no, we're not sexual inverts. Oh no. So, they want it both ways. And you can't have it both ways. I mean, I fully accept there are many people in the gay society who are not sexual inverts. They have other conditions. They could have acquired homosexuality. Most pederasts have acquired homosexuality. They were pedicated, that is, penetrated when they were boys, and when they grow up, they turn into pedicators, and they prey on young boys. And a huge part of the gay scene is made up of those people. But genuine homosexuals, that is the ones who are actually feminized, they're not like that. They can't, it's not a function of their upbringing or the things that happen to them. It's completely innate. And these issues, when you look at Reimer and money, you'll see that what money was trying to do was impossible, but not because there are not, this is the feminist case, that gender always follows sex. That's not the case. He had picked the wrong person to do it with. If he'd picked someone, or if by chance it had been a person who was naturally sexually inverted, then the whole thing would have worked fine. There would have been no problem. Reimer would have grown up to be a woman, and that would have been that. And nobody would have batted an eyelid. But the point was, he had not had those pre-birth, prenatal issues in the womb, issues to do with testosterone delivery in the womb, that would have changed his sexuality such that he was feminized, which would have allowed money's experiment to work. He just took an ordinary masculine boy and tried to turn him into a girl. You cannot do that. That doesn't work. Transitioned people, transsexual people do exist. They're real. But they're a very small group of people, and it comes from conditions in the womb. Okay? It's innate. They can't change it. It's not up to them. Anyway, see you next time.